Good morning, everyone. Good morning to myself. um, I got I've already drank enough coffee this morning, though I still feel like I'm a little tired. This is a new drink that I made a smoothie. Uh, it's amazing. On every year, there seems to be a plant out there that's really sticking out. Yes, this year it's European plantain. There's two varieties here, the common plantain, and then also from plantain comes the psyllium husk, by the way, that keeps you regular kind of thing. Okay. And so we that's a common one here. It grows everywhere, and I do collect the leaves and I put some in the tea, in my Holy Grail tea, and then of course I collect the husks as well, and yeah. So I've got all my little natural things to do this and that, and I love adding all the stuff to the food. Yes, yeah, that I may cook. So this year, the European plantain, which is, yeah, well, go look it up, then you can see the difference of it, is growing here right now like crazy. I mean, it's wonderful. Just didn't have much to begin with here. Now it's kind of okay. So I went and collected a whole bunch of that. And then the other one was, oh no, what did I? What was the other one? Oh, the mullein. Mullein, yes, mullein. Really good for your lungs and bronchioles and stuff like that. And the plantain's really good for all kinds like infection that you have in your system. If there are supposedly, it's not just good for uh, sores and things on the outside, but okay, what's cancer? That's a sore in your system, right? Yes, that's what I would call it, right? So this is really good, but there is a little bit of a side effect with it for some. I don't have it. I all I can tell you is, and that is that you can get a little bit of an upset stomach, this, that, right? If taken in too much, if in great quantity, or yeah. Anyway, that's the warning out there if you take plantain internally. So, well, in small dosages, I'd say it's good for everyone, but I put a lot in there. I mean, a big old handful, couple of handfuls, and then I added the mullein into it, and then I added when we have bananas here, right? You ever have? I just put them in the freezer when and they're getting a little brown. Nobody's gonna eat them, or they start having some black blotches on them. Nobody's gonna eat them, right? Yeah, yeah, it's what it is, right? Of course, one can make banana bread with it. I put them in the freezer and use them for smoothies, right? Yes. So I put one banana. Oh, what was that? I just saw something scurrying across the road. Oh, something small. I don't know what it was. And then I added some buttermilk. I had some buttermilk that I need to use up. So I added some buttermilk, and I had some apple butter as well. Yes. Um, Somebody had brought me really good stuff, and it's one of those things. I rarely eat jam or stuff like that anymore. Say on a piece of bread or whatever. I don't. So it was kind of okay. Got opened, and I used it in some pumpkin bread that I made as somewhat of a sweetener rather than sugar. And then I started using it in my smoothies, and I'm going, oh, that's really good, right? Yes, no added sugar otherwise. And so I mixed all that up, okay? And one can put also a little slice of lemon in it. That gives it a little more zing, right? Yep. Oh, you can do it any way you want to. Anyway, and this is what it looks like. Look at it. It's like the green machine, right? Yeah. What does it taste like? Well, the taste is great. It's more the consistency of all the herbs in it, even though they're really mashed up good. You have some. plant matter in your mouth kind of thing. But it's not bad to take at all. I enjoy things like this, right? So in any case, I already had a big gulp glass yesterday just to see, okay, am I going to tolerate it? Sure enough, no problem, this and that, yes. Feeling great, by the way, so that's my second glass. I got more to go. So, should one do this every day? This, not, no. Yep. Always with things like this, I give myself either a 3-day or a 7-day, just depending, and then I stop again, right? Yes? Don't overload your system with certain things, right? And then I'll go, this is more of a radical, and yeah, it is. Been noticing with the hot flashes and stuff going through menopause, I get hot and then I get cold, and that's kind of affecting my system a little bit. Yes? So that's why I'm doing this. Besides, it's going to be good for whatever else is going on in my system, right? Yes? Who knows? It might even help reduce some of the inflammation that my whole system seems to be always going through. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. In any case, so there it is. That's what I'm drinking. This morning after my coffee. Always coffee first. People can tell me whatever they want out there. I'm going to drink coffee first in the morning. That's that. As long as I have it. Right? There you go. So there it is. Already talked enough. Oh, there's the hummingbirds are back. We have a little nest of... what did my brother-in-law say they were? With little baby bird heads sticking out in the back of the house. Yes. Spring and babies. Yeah. Let's kill them, right? Okay, Danielle. Some people out there. It's just weird. I don't get them. Oh. First, what am I doing? I just wonder, with things like that, where if certain people were to live here, right? Yes, they'd probably be knocking everything down, spraying everywhere, this, that, right? And completely mess up the beautiful balance that we have here, living as human beings here in the wild with everything around us that is out in nature, right? But I could see how many people would just destroy, little by little, everything around them. Because that's already what people are doing out there, really, when it comes down to it. Right? Yes. Change things. Yeah. All take everything out of the natural order of things, right? And want to dominate it in their own way, in the way they want to, right? Rather than coexist, right? With in the proper order with everything. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? If I don't forget, maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more later on what I have observed on what actually really is going on out there and how many people are hoodwinked by it, especially women, mothers, who are now exposing their children, willing to do so, fight for it, to certain things. I have to say, there will be consequences to all that. Right? Then they can whine about that. Okay. All right, this is for our celestial condition established. Heaven on earth. I was a blessed child, peace in mankind, care and love for every dependent child. I wonder if people still know what that actually means. I know there's very many good fathers and mothers out there. Thank God. Peace. Every child feels secure, which reflects cause and effect in the child's life. Peace. Every child eats. Peace. Every child is warmed in cold times. Peace. Understanding a child's growth in troubling times. Then to guide the child. Not to use the child. To guide the child. Not to use the child for your own agenda out in the world. to attain harmony with peace. I am peace as a father, as a mother, as a son, as a daughter of God. Peace, to become the best I can be for every child. Not the child become the best that you got. To then again use for what? Repentance, knowing every child is deserving of peace. Oh, I could just, every one of these I could use. Okay. Prayer, knowing every child comes first, not your agenda. Not your agenda comes first. Every child comes first. The best of every child comes first. Huh? Not your political views, not your stance in whoever you are as a man or a woman. That's not it. That's not it. Restored. Conditions are fulfilled when every child is loved and cared for. Death separates us from our earthly path to attain peace. Our taught descendants are the future, the change of lineage, God's lineage in action, the true cause and effect in a child's harmonious and happy life. I am an adult ashamed to ask for anything from my heavenly parents for myself, if a child on earth needs my prayers and conditions greater than I. Peace will happen when peace can be found in every child. I will be less than any child that suffers due to mankind's unkindness. Spirit world will hold us all accountable regardless. Remember that. I went from reading it to becoming frustrated and yes, a bit angry to absolute sadness. That's how I've just read through this. I'm at the end and I feel just this absolute sadness over the treatment of children out there. What they're being forced into now. Forced. All right. Let us continue in Deuteronomy. I wonder what they got for us today. 3. Deuteronomy 3. I feel like that stuff is cleaning my teeth too. Conquest of the kingdom of Og. 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 Ah, this reads like a fiction novel or some kind of fantasy. Og, the kingdom of Og. We then turned on Bashan and invaded that. Good. And Og, king of Bashan, marched out against us. Oh, wait a second. So they turned on Bashan and invaded that. But what the king did was marched against us. Well, you marched against Bashan first, didn't you? Okay. Again, you see, huh? You worked this just a little right, and it's come. Yeah, he did that. He went against them. Okay. He and all his people to give battle at the Edrei. Okay, let's see that. And Og, king of Bashan, marched out against us, he and all his people, to give battle at Edrei. He and all his people, women and children too, the old and the sick and all, he and all his people. You see, that's already a lie. Oh, well, it's meant. No, then say it right. Yahweh said to me, do not be afraid of him, for I have put him at your mercy. Him, all his people, and his country. Well, good for them. You will treat him as you treated Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon. So Yahweh our God put Og, king of Bashan, at our mercy too, with all his people. We beat him so thoroughly that nobody was left. Right, look at there. That was when we captured all his towns. There was not a town of theirs we did not take. 60 towns, the whole confederation of Argob, Og's kingdom in Bashan. All of them fortresses defended by high walls and fortified with gates and bars, not to mention the parasite towns, which were very numerous. We laid them under the curse of destruction, as we had done Sihon king of Heshbon, laying all these towns under the curse of destruction, men, women, and children. But we seized the livestock and spoils of the towns as booty for ourselves. And the young ladies, the young women, okay. Thus, by then we had taken the country of the two Amorite kings beyond the Jordan, stretching from the Wadi Arnon to Mount Hermon. The Sidonians call Hermon Sirion, and the Amorites call it Senir. All the towns of the tableland, all Gilead, and all Bashan as far as Salekah and Edrei, the capital cities of Og in Bashan. Og, king of Bashan, was the last survivor of the Rephaim. His bed was the iron bed that can be seen at the Rabbah of the Ammonites, 9 cubits long and 4 wide, according to the human cubit. An iron bed. Okay. The partitioning of Transjordan. Then we took possession of this country, from Ariar on the Wadi Arnon to the Reubenites and Gadites. I gave half the highlands of Gilead with its towns. To the half tribe of Manasseh, half tribe. Why was that a half tribe? I gave the rest of Gilead and the whole of Bashan, Og's kingdom, the whole confederation of Argob, and the whole of Bashan is called the country of the Rephaim. Since Jair, son of Manasseh, occupied the whole confederation of Argob as far as the frontiers of the Geshurites and Maccathites, after him Bashan is called the encampments of Jair even today. To Machir I gave Gilead. To the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave the region from Gilead to the Wadi Arnon, the middle of the ravine, marking the boundary, and up as far as the Jabbok, the ravine marking the frontier of the Ammonites. The Arabah and the Jordan serve as frontiers from Chineret down to the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, at the foot of the slopes of Pisgah on the east. Further instructions from Moses. I have nothing to say to any of this right now. Just nothing. We've talked about this before. We're just going to read what it says here. I then gave you this order. Yahweh your God has given you this country to be yours. Armed, every one of you fit to fight must go ahead of your brothers, the Israelites. Only your wives, your children, and your flocks, you have many flocks, I know, must stay behind in the towns which I have given you, until Yahweh has brought your brothers to rest, as he has already brought you, and they too possess the territory which Yahweh your God is giving them on the other side of the Jordan. After that you can go home, each to the domain I have given you. I then gave Joshua this order. You can see for yourself everything that Yahweh our God has done to these two kings. Yahweh will do the same to all the kingdoms through which you pass. Do not be afraid of them. Yahweh your God himself is fighting for you. I then pleaded with Yahweh, my Lord Yahweh, I said, now that you have begun to reveal your greatness and your power to your servant with works and mighty deeds, no God in heaven or on earth can rival. May I not go across and see this fine country on the other side of the Jordan, that fine upland country and the Lebanon. But because of you, Yahweh was angry with me and would not listen. How many people are involved in all this tattle here? But because of you, Yahweh was angry with me and would not listen. I guess he's now accosting. Enough, he said. Do not mention the subject again. Climb to the top of Pisgah, turn your eyes to the west, the north, the south, and the east. Look well, for across this Jordan you shall not go. Give Joshua your instructions, encourage him, strengthen him, for he will be the one to cross at the head of this people. He will be the one to bring them into possession of the country which you will see. We then stayed in the valley close to Beth Peor. That's the end of 3. uh, Growing up in Switzerland, of course, you get the history of what? Switzerland, right? Yes. That has an interesting history. Very interesting history. And once certain regions in Switzerland banded together and said, we're done with the feudal system here. We're done bowing to a stick with a hat on, which represented the feudal lord. Every time you walk past, you had to bow down or something. Okay. They were done with that, so they banded together, and there were quickly more other regions in Switzerland that makes up Switzerland now, banded together, and they started to fight back. Oh. So they fought all kinds of different armies that then were trying to Austria, Germany, even Italy, like even Russia was trying to, anyway, so over time. But there was one battle that is very well known, right? And hardly anybody doesn't know when that happened. It was in 1315, was the Battle of Morgarten. Die Schlacht am Morgarten. And it was a brutal battle. That's when the Swiss became known as brutal, bloodthirsty, merciless fighters. It was also kind of a decisive battle. The reason people don't forget 1315, because it's you remember it by 1:15. Right? Yes. Well, that would be what? Yeah. Well, European time's a bit different. After you go into the afternoon, it doesn't stop at 12 and starts at 1 again. It goes to 13, 14. So 13 is 1 o'clock. 14 is 2 o'clock. Right? 15 is 3 o'clock. So 1:15. So 1315 was that battle. And it's history, and that's just starts early in Switzerland. Go through all the stuff. Got to 6th grade, and there are many paintings painted about that battle, this, that. And you don't, as a child, you just kind of list, okay, that was a victory for us, right? Yeah, good. Got to 6th grade. We had a history. I had a teacher there. You didn't have a teacher for every different subject. We had one for all of it, right? Until you got into the higher grades or lower grades. Okay, all right. That system that they have, school system they have in Switzerland. And we came to that, and she said, I know that our country had to be, in order for our country to exist in the way that it does now, battles had to be fought against oppression. All right. This wasn't not the same as here, where the Israelites just go and, okay, they have not had their place yet. They weren't invaded. They invaded others. And in Switzerland, it was to drive out the oppressors, right? Yes? To become independent, right? Yes? Okay. A little bit different, right? Yes? When you try to free yourself from a yoke. Yeah. Yet, I will never forget the lesson this teacher, her name was Margriet Ziegler, taught us. She said, battles had to be fought to get away from oppression, to drive the oppressors out, and to establish our own nation. Yet, that battle on Morgarten is a great sin on the shoulders of the Swiss people. I thought, whoa, where did that come from? She said, it wasn't about the victory. It's about what happened after the victory. The Swiss people didn't stop there. Once they'd won the battle, they hunted down the people that fought against them at that time, hunted them down like animals, already defeated, already wounded, and they killed all of them. Every last one of them. And this teacher told us that wasn't necessary. There was no need to do that. Overzealousness in winning, right? Yes? Something. That lesson stuck with me all my life. It really did. She didn't put down the fact that we needed to fight for our freedom. That wasn't it. It was that instead of being grateful that we won, that we've driven away the oppressor, it was what came after. Anyway, so she ended the lesson with, beware when you learn about history, your own history, other people's history, and then become proud. The necessity for certain things may have been there to do what needed to be done, but the excess of it was wrong. And to acknowledge our own faults when it comes to certain things. Well, anyway, so I think I would say if one were to really go and look, every country around the world, every nation around the world, every continent has something like that in their history. Maybe even more. And another thing that that teacher said to us at that time was, repent, reflect on what our ancestors have done as well. it wasn't just done to us. Not just what was done to us as a people a long time ago, but what we did to others as well. And to keep that in mind, right? So, yes, grateful we gained our freedom, yet we also have some things to atone for because we became overzealous gaining that freedom. Lost control. Lost control. Right? Okay, well, there we go. I'm not going to say much more to that. What is there to say again? Yes? Why was it so bloody at that battle? Because of the tools the Swiss had available. It was gruesome. Absolutely gruesome. Okay. Well, anyway. So there it is. It's a rainy day today. I think I'm going to do some sewing today. That's what I'm going to do. I'll do a little house cleaning again as well. Planted all my stuff, just about. I got one more. I got to take a walk and plant some more squash. I forgot about that place back there where I have a spot where that would be perfect and nobody could get to it, this and that. So I want to do that. No, I know, right? It's getting towards May, so I got to have it all in now. Yes, that's what I do. And that, I think, is pretty much it. It's starting to rain. Yes, sewing today. Okay. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. And I will talk to y'all another time.